Greetings, tubers. Right, so today I'm putting up a bit of dry lining, and the reason that I'm not finishing my window is because I have to wait 3 weeks for delivery. So in the meantime I'll do something else, but unfortunately this is here we have the window all bricked up on both sides, and I've blocked it up at the moment just to stop the breeze coming in and the winter wind, and so that's how it looks. Unfortunately my my memory card became corrupted in the process of this and had to be reformatted, so that was a bit unfortunate. So you missed the really interesting part of more cementing, but there you go. So I'm coming back to this in about 2 weeks time hopefully, and in the meantime I'm going to start dry lining this wall, and let's have a look. Right, so I've stuck a bit of foam along here just to reduce the airflow up the back of the dry lining, and this helps insulation. If you're unlucky enough to have a house fire, you want to lower the amount of draft that you've got up the back of the dry lining, so this helps reduce that, and it means the fire hopefully doesn't go out of control too quickly, and your house lasts a bit longer before the fire brigade gets here. I've done the same on the bottom as well for the same reason, a little bit of, just fill up some of those gaps with a bit of foam. So the first step is to figure out how far off the walls the slab's going to be, because you want them flat and you want to cover the wall not too far away, as close as you can get. But the way I'm doing it is to put wooden battens up and secured with these little metal ties here, and in fact you can get these. You just you can see they bend up like this, and then you screw them to the wall. And for the fixtures, what I've found best is to use these concrete bolts. They're especially designed to be drilled into concrete or screwed into concrete. They hold pretty well, and we're going into sandstone, which is much the same thing. They hold very well in the sandstone, and then we just screw the battens to the ties. Okay, so the first one is up here, and we're 1.2 meters from the edge, which is the width of the insulated plasterboard slab, and at the moment this is set to about as close as I can get it. And what you can do is to go across the wall, and let's get this with a straight edge like that. So what I've done here is note that that's about level. In fact, if I come away a bit like that, we'll notice that we're resting on where I put across there. This is a high point, so this sticks out this bit, and if you go every foot or two along the wall and find all your high points, it gives you a good idea of how you're going to line up the wall. There's another one there. This is the one that sticks out the most, so as long as you can get a batten on here and give yourself enough room at this point, then you'll know you'll be good everywhere else along the wall. So that's what I've done. The other thing we have to do here is make sure we can secure in this side, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a piece of timber here, just a 1x2, gives a bit of spacing off the wall, and the plasterboard is going to be screwed onto here. Now in doing that, this now sets the distance off the wall at this end, which I can also use to check that I have at least this minimum distance all the way along the wall. So that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to get on and screw this on, play around with some more battens and see how we go. Okay, so now we're going to put in another batten over here, again 1.2 meters from here, and I'll show you how to do that. Just quite simple, obviously. And then get yourself a nice big pen. Draw yourself a vertical line. Just a couple of spots on the stones where you might want to put a strap, a little connector where you're drilling your holes. So these are a 7.5 millimeter screw, but you need a 6 millimeter hole. So we have 6 millimeter masonry SDS bit, and do use these to get yourself something like this, because you won't get through the stones in a reasonable time with a standard hammer drill. You need a proper one, a big one. So just drill a few holes. I like to put about 5, maybe 4 or 5 in the wall is usually enough. One there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm using a 5.5, which is great for the softer sandstone, but I'm having a bit of trouble getting it in some of the harder ones. So here's a 6 mil. Just widen that last hole up a bit. The problem with the sandstone is it varies in density and hardness from stone to stone, so you have to start off with a slightly smaller hole sometimes and then widen it about half a millimetre smaller and then widen it if you need to. So now we're going to put another batten in. We're not securing these in, we're just clamping them, because we're still trying to measure the distance from the wall and get that right before we actually screw them in. So I'm going to go and cut another section. See you in a second. Well, we're not screwing them in yet. Just clamp up the straps to them, and makes it nice and easy to align the first couple and get them right. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so they're in line, and if I extend this down to the end there, about the same distance from the wall as these ones. So that looks about right. So we're going to now start screwing the buttons to the straps. Just check your centre to centre is correct before we go any further. Now, one useful thing is to use a little clamp like this and just squeeze these straps together. It helps hold them in place, and it helps the screw go in the right place so it doesn't twist while you're screwing them in. Just a couple of screws each, one each side, and that's good. Now top and bottom. Okay, that's the first button in place. Now we'll do this one. And of course, you're looking quite accurate because you don't want wonky walls. You don't want the plaster rolling at you. So here's a piece 2x4, just long enough for 2 battens, so just over 2.4 metres long. And you can rest it on the 2 outside ones and make sure that the inside is nicely touching this. Now sometimes I clamp them. It's just a lot easier. So I'm going to clamp this, and also I keep the straps poking out still. I'm not going to bend them back yet or cut them off, whichever you want to do. I'm going to keep them there because I can actually rest this on top of them, and that can be very handy as well. So let's try that here. I'm going to clamp this, make sure we've got exactly the right distance there. Yeah, make sure you buy really good quality clamps, like this one. But the little lever breaks off, that's what you need. A little special, I think. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 more halfway to give proper support for the slab. Exactly the same way, only this time we don't need to measure the level with the spirit level. We use the 2x4 cross, 2 of them to get the right level of the one in the centre. So that's the quickest and easiest way of doing that. So I shall get on with that at a slightly higher tempo. Okay, so we have 4 battens up, and they're pretty much in a plane, which is what you need. So they are vertically aligned and they're horizontally aligned. And in fact, if you do a few diagonals, then they should all just about touch the straight edge. And in fact, you can. That's perfect. In fact, you can use the diagonal as a check to see how you're doing and if everything's good. So everything's perfect. So we've got 1 more to do in that corner. I was debating whether to do 1 or 2 more because it's not a full slab, but we'll do 1 more because there's going to be a wardrobe built in here, so we don't really need 2. It's about 3/4 of a slab, so we'll stick 1 in at 60 centimetres or 600 mil, and that'll be the battens done. Right, that's all the battens done. 5 of them on this wall, so I can put up the slabs now. One last job to do. Is this piece that attaches to the wall here. There's a bit of a gap here from here down, so I'm going to put a slightly thinner piece in here because this bows out a bit. That's why I left it. It's not much, but it's probably 5 mil, and so I'm going to cut a piece of wood to fit in there, and then I can put up the plasterboard, which will be nice. Okay, we're done with the battens, all finished, and everything's straight, horizontal, vertical, everything. So now we just bend these back, so you don't really need to worry too much. Sometimes if they're really thick ones, you might need to cut them, like angle grind them off, but just make sure that they don't stick out. And then we'll just cut the slabs to shape or to size and put them up, and that's it really. That's what we'll be doing next. Right, good morning tubers. I'm feeling in a better mood today. I've been topping up this week on my vitamin D, a little bit of magnesium as well, so I'm raring to go, in a much better mood, yeah. So my woman better watch out later. Anyway, back to the building work, as I'm sure you're very keen to see my dry lining, if I didn't explain last time. Here it is. That's the result of it. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it's lovely. Look at that. And it's all perfectly straight and all vertical and all fits nicely at the top. And yeah, so today we're going to carry on and we're going to do this side exactly the same. There's a couple of little problems here. Well, not problems, but so there we go. There's that sticks out quite a way. You can see that this is someone's blocked up the chimney some years ago, and they've made a right hash of it. But we're going to leave it. It just means we've got to come out. It bulges out a bit, so we're going to bring the dry lining just an extra inch off the wall. Shouldn't be too bad. It's going to cover this pipe as well. And this pipe's no longer used actually. It was for the toilet, but we've changed our water supply. So I'm going to leave it there though, because it might come in handy at some point. So yeah, we're going to block up got a bit more squeezy foam to stick along here. Squeezing those gaps, fill up the gaps a bit, and up along here as well. And this camera's preview keeps disappearing. It's a pain in the arse. Anyway, so we're going to block up there as well. Bit of squeezy foamage. And yeah, and then carry on with the dry lining. We're going to stop here at the window because the window needs to come out. I'm going to brick up that side. But I need the scaffolding there to brick it up, and I also want to remove this
windowsill, this sandstone windowsill here. I want to remove that carefully, so I'm going to need the scaffolding around there for that, and I don't want to move the scaffolding because we haven't finished with the window. So as soon as I get that window and finish the outside of that, then I can carry on here. But in the meantime, a bit more dry lining up to here, and then hopefully the window should have arrived. So without further ado, let's get to it. Good evening, tubers. So here's the result of yesterday's work. Unfortunately, halfway through, I think I ran out of space on the card and couldn't really record anymore, but I didn't want to stop, so I carried on without recording, which is a bit annoying, but there we go. That's the result of the dry lining as of the end of yesterday. I'm not going to finish that bit at the moment. And it's a little bit like playing chess, really. You've got to, when you've got these slabs, you've got to think about 8 moves ahead. You've got to think about what you're going to use all the way around here, what offcuts you're going to have, and kind of try and make the best use of it. So I'm going to stop here with the dry lining, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of that now anyway. Enough to last you a lifetime, no doubt. So the next time we do anything up here will be when this window arrives, and fingers crossed next week. And until then, have fun.